All right, and we're live. Hi everyone. It is the first day of November. Sorry,
Crazy enough.
I'm a little tired, so I was just like, wait, are we still talking about October? But no, we're talking about November. It's the very first day of November, and that means that NaNoWriMo 2020 is a go. We're doing a very short, well, shorter than usual because we usually do like an hour or more. But today we're only doing 8 hour stream so we can talk a little bit more about NaNoWriMo. And also, if you're joining in with us, you will be able to sprint. We're very excited about that. If you already follow me and you know my channel, then hi, thank you for being here. And we have Sarah, my wonderful, wonderful, beautiful witch sister. Say hi, Sarah.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. So I don't know if anyone else is writing yet this month, but I haven't started. So if you're at 0, don't worry, you're not alone.
Well, it's funny because we have the Slack chat, right? And I've actually been running a bunch of writing sprints, but I actually haven't been writing yet. And I think
Oh,
we were
yeah?
talking, yeah, I think we were talking a little bit about this, about how different people in our group are actually working on more than one story at once. And like you. And I'm actually just working on my one story. But one of the things that happens is that I kind of like to consider that what I write for Nano has to be the story. It can't be anything else. So even though I have been working a little bit on timelining and like just writing certain notes to myself, like this needs to happen, blah, 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 I don't actually consider that part of my writing, which could be hurtful, but it's just the way that I've done it. And I kind of like going like that.
Yeah, when I did it, when I was really focused on, doing it the proper way and writing my 50,000 words, I didn't count notes either. So I get that. But is that what you were working on earlier today? Was notes for your Nano story, or was it something totally different and
It was mostly
unrelated?
that, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I'm writing a series, right? And
Right.
so this is going to be my fourth book in a series. And like I said, I don't do prep before. So what I actually have to do before Nano starts, and I should have done this like during the week, but again, that's prepping. So, and I'm
We don't
kind of
do that.
weird about that. And so what ended up happening was that I decided to read it today. So I was not reading the entire script. I cannot read an entire book that fast. I wish,
Even you.
but I
You take on a
can't.
lot, but
So I was actually just skimming it as much as possible and being like, okay, so I have to like remember this. I think I'm going to change this. I think I'm going to do this on book 4 instead of book 3. So that's kind of the stuff that I was doing while we were sprinting.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
that all leads into it. I'm sure our first sprint will mostly be me reading over what I've written because I haven't touched the story since July, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, luckily I've already done the brainstorming and the world building and everything for the story. I think this is actually my at least 4th Nano event I've worked on the same story. So
Oh, wow.
at least I have prepped theoretically, but I haven't touched the story in a few months. So
Yeah. No, but
really
that's
just
really cool.
ground zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like working on the same story like that many times. That's actually like to me, that's actually really cool. I kind of wish I did that because I think that if you actually sit down with just one story, you can get so much more out of it. What I'm doing, jumping around, it was just because I thought that it would help me figure out the first book better if I had the
Yeah.
rest. But yeah, sometimes I keep thinking like, man, maybe I should just get that first book and like work on it and actually get it out there.
Yeah. Well, and it was only one November Nano that I've worked on this, but I've done a couple camps and it's just the one manuscript that I haven't been able to finish the final draft. I guess because I've had other serious projects I've been working on at the same time. But
Also, hi, Steph. I kind of did
oh,
a hi before, but
thanks for joining us.
yeah, thanks so much for joining us. And yeah, we're going to be doing a couple of live sprints this time, which is really cool. We've never done it before. We have had the Slack chat for a while and we do so many sprints there, but it's kind of a different feel doing it live like this.
Yeah. It's different when you can see the facial expressions I make while I write. because I'm very aware of the facial expressions I make. Like, you do that at all? Like when you're trying to think of what a character's doing and you're like doing the faces?
Yeah. I mean, because of art, I tend to do this thing where like whatever expression I'm drawing, I'm actually doing it as well. So, you know, like you have that thoughtful thing and you're like, and you're trying to draw it out. And so, yeah, of course you got to do that when you're writing too, because you're thinking like, how do I get in the head of this character? And then you just kind of end up getting into it. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
What does that feel like? And how do you convey this emotion? Let me try.
And I think it's something to be said too, that sometimes like when you know, like what you're writing is sad. I'm tired today, folks. So sorry. But when you're writing, yeah, it's been a week. It's been extreme actually, but it's cool. I actually love doing this, so it's not that much. But yeah, sometimes when you're sad and you're writing something sad, you're writing something sad and you start being sad. Like to me, that's always been something incredible, because it's one thing for you to think like, oh man, am I gonna hit the people who are reading this one day? Like, is this gonna be enough? But when you hit yourself with the emotion.
I mean, one of my books, of course, you know, it's the whole plot is about a person dying. And then every now and then I'm like, I'm so sad that this person's dead. But it's my fault. Hi, welcome.
Sorry. I'm having computer issues. I don't even know.
It's okay. And we have our third witch, which is actually the second witch, but I'm not going to do that because sometimes we play musical chairs and it's so funny. Like I usually try to order us by order of our numbers, and it gets so funny because if anything happens, it's musical chairs all over. And it's been fun. Live is something else, guys. Just letting you know.
We dance around the screen.
How are you doing, Anna? Did you start Rimo?
Not today. I had what a friend calls shower moments, which sounds like worse than it actually is. But it's those moments like, you know, when you're washing your hair or whatever, and then like magic strikes and you're like, oh crap, I'm soaking wet and I have nothing to write with. What do I do?
Oh no.
I had one of those yesterday around world building. From some questions that Sarah had asked me a while back. And so I like had to run out of the shower and like jot these ideas down. So that was yesterday. And now my goal today is to get those ideas out of I kept talking about my crappy little notebook,
It finally makes an appearance.
Yeah, and get it from that into Scrivener. So that's my goal today for Nano Day 1, which is also Nano Day 1.
It's the day. It's the Nano Day.
Yeah. It's like, oh God, how are we here?
Well, that seems like a good goal, and you should definitely share that with me afterwards.
Yes.
I want to know the answers to my questions. Like, even though that was like a few months ago, I think. But
it was.
I definitely want to know.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it though since we talked.
Yeah, it's helpful. It was helpful. This has definitely been, it's a world building question, right? And so it's like, well, what is the purpose of the magic here? And it's like, I don't know. I just like magic. But I have at least a partial answer. So
yeah, I love when you get those questions from critique partners and beta readers, and you're like, can it just be a thing?
Yeah, right. So what if I want this? It's the thing.
Well, that's the problem, right? Because like depending what you're writing, and we actually, for those of you who don't know this, we are getting new people into our Slack group. And we actually had somebody who joined us today who said that they were brand new, like have never done any of this before. And we were kind of talking about it. And I was just trying to figure out like, oh, so wait, what do you have? Because if you need, you know, like tips for this or that, like we have to figure out like what you need tips for. And this person was just like, well, I'm actually writing fantasy because I think that that's going to be a little bit easier. And we talked about that a little bit, right? About how like when you're writing fantasy, you don't literally need to figure stuff out like the moment of, and that's so helpful for people who just want to like sit down and write. So, you know, for that person, I actually think like it's their first time, but it's also really, really good choice. Maybe that's not what they wanted to write. It's, you know, I don't know that person that well yet, but it's still like, okay, I think you absolutely got this. And, you know, they mentioned later, they were just like, oh yeah, I got a couple of words in, and we're like, this is amazing. That's really cool for your first time. It's good that you can like let it flow, right? Same thing, magic. If you don't know what it's for yet, but you just like it, why not?
Yeah, just have fun with it. And I think that's something that's interesting about fantasy is on one hand, it's so much work to come up with a whole new world because you can't just rely on the real world, but also you can kind of create your own rules and bend rules without relying on research or, you know, like understanding our world. So, you know, good and bad.
Yeah. So let's see. We are going to be doing a couple of sprints, but because today's stream is going to be a little bit shorter, we're actually not going to do it that long. It's going to be about an hour. So we got like 50 minutes to go or something. We are going to talk just a little bit more. If you guys have any questions, if you want to know anything specific from us, please write it down in the chat and we will get to it as soon as we can. If you've never done sprints before, it's actually just a really cool way to just write. I mean, I don't know about you guys. When I did the first couple of sessions of Nano, so like maybe like 5 years ago, I didn't care for sprints at all. I didn't even know about them. I didn't care. It wasn't something that I ever thought about. I thought it was actually, and I'll say this, I actually thought it was kind of stupid because I was like, well, I could lie about my numbers. Like I could tell you guys that like, oh yeah, I totally got like 500 words down. Ha ha ha. And it turns out that I didn't do anything. But then it comes to the point where it's like, well, you're just lying to yourself. If you're doing Nano, you still have to get those words down or you can't, you know, like win. And even if it doesn't matter to you, it's like, who are you kidding, right? And so when we actually started doing it as a group, when we started doing it with the Slack, then it became this thing where I was like, oh my God, this is actually really cool. So how do you guys feel about it? Like, do you actually like sprinting? Is this something that's new to you? What do you guys think?
I can go first. I actually really like sprinting, but I had sort of a similar reaction at first. I didn't think I would be into it because I saw a lot of people on Twitter doing it. And I was like, I don't know, it seems distracting, or like I don't need to try to do a bunch of words in a certain set period of time. Like I just write how I write, you know? But then when I started doing it with the Slack group, and I think when we were doing it with the that contest with RevPit, I was doing it then. And I realized that it really worked for me to just sit down for 30 minutes without distractions, or however long the sprint is, without distractions, and write, and then also have the bonus accountability of writing with other people and having that, you know, encouragement at the end when people cheer you on for however many words you write. Because if it's like 100 words, like great job. And then if it's 500 words, also great job, you know? So yeah, I really like them. But Anna, I thought I recall you not being as into them, or am I wrong?
No, I do them. My start with them was through a Twitter group. I think they were called Friday Night Writes. And it was like Friday nights, they would do sprints on there. And so that's how I got into it. It reminded me of doing like fast exercises in art classes, you know, when it's like freestyle drawing and things like that. So I had that, but it was like really ugly little sketches. And so I kind of went into sprinting the same way, where they're just like little ugly words. You know, it's like I'm just trying to get something down in that however long time period. And sometimes that's just like slamming words on a page. Sometimes that's making up dialogue. Sometimes that's just doing character sketches if I can't find the words for that scene or whatever. But knowing that the words don't necessarily matter, it's more just getting them down. And it's also a time for me to not do internet research. Like, hey, we're sprinting right now. You can go look something up. Don't do that. Just put a placeholder in there that says, look this up, and then come back to it later. So I think for me, it's less pressure because it's like, oh, I don't have to get it right. I just have to get it down. And knowing that sometimes I don't catch that sprint because I have to go get some water or have to do something. So I'll just catch the next one when it comes around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a great point. And I need to be better about not stopping mid-sprint to go Google something, because sometimes I'll be sprinting and then at the end I'm like, oh, I did two things because I got distracted and spent 20 minutes researching this really specific thing. So
Yeah,
I need to be better about that, but
it's easy to get sucked into the research too. It's like,
yeah,
oh, researching, I'm learning and not writing.
yeah. But I think there's a lot of room to make sprints your own too. Like there's that mindset of, okay, it doesn't really matter. Like just get what you can down and don't worry about how perfect it is and researched and all of that. But then there's also the mindset of like, you don't need to focus on trying to get a certain amount of words down, even if that's what other people are doing. Like you can just say, hey, like just write for 20 minutes or focus on it for 20 minutes or stare at the screen for 20 minutes and whatever happens, happens. So,
yeah. Sometimes those words are like pulling teeth, right? I mean, some days they just don't come easily. And so you're like, I got 5 words down in 20 minutes, and that's 5 words more than I had 20 minutes ago. So,
maybe those 5 words are crucial to what's happening.
Absolutely. Yeah.
this is that ties it all together. This is my title.
Yeah, there have been times when I've spent like 80% of the sprint staring and doing absolutely nothing, but then that last line you get down really adds like something in your brain that suddenly the next sprint you can do something. So.
Well, I think we kind of mentioned this before, but because of the Slack where we have like all different writers, we actually do that a lot where sometimes we're just like, oh, so how much did you get down? Like how many words did you get? And people are just like, actually, I got completely sidetracked. Like my mom called me or like I had to do something and blah, blah, blah. And I mentioned this before you were in here with us, Anna, but like when I'm doing Nano, the November version, for me, the only thing I can actually like count is the story I'm writing. So if I'm doing notes, if I'm doing anything else, I don't actually count that. I should, because it is writing, it's working on your story. It absolutely, like, there's no shame in any of that. But it's just something that I do. It's like, no, I want to get like just the story down. And so I was actually thinking about that because with sprinting, like if we're doing it during Nano, I'm like, okay, I want to get my work for this story down. But when we're doing it outside of Nano, it's like notes, whatever I do. Sometimes even if I like if I type an email that's important for something, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna count that because it's writing, and you're getting better with writing. And so I think it's really cool to actually have those different things that you can use it for without actually setting that mindset of it has to be this and only this, and you have to do it perfectly and blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, there's like some noisy cars today. Sorry.
Well, and part of it's just the camaraderie too, right? I mean, even if you're working on an annoying email or a homework assignment for me, I mean, Rose has gotten me through a few of those homework assignments doing the sprints, and I love sprints with her because she gets just as distracted as I do. So when I come back and I'm like, oh, I'm so distracted, she's like, so am I.
So reassuring.
Force the person to be like, okay, no, we're going to do it this time.
We had one today where like 2 people, we actually had 4 people going, which was awesome. And like 2 of them were like, oh, we got this much done. And then, you know, like Rosa comes in and she's just like, oh, actually, I didn't get any done because I had, you know, something to take care of. And then I was like, it's okay, Rosa, because me too, I didn't get anything done. We're in this together. And we're just like, hey. And it just became like such a good moment. Like, okay, we got this. It's okay. Even if we didn't do it now, we can do it later.
I think I saw that line where you said something about suffering together, because I was working on something and I was like, are they sprinting? Can I join? And then I just saw we're suffering together, and I was like, all right, they're doing fine.
Did you join in the suffering or did you wait?
No, I think they were all ending after that. Maybe I don't know. I kind of kept missing things and then kept distracting myself from homework. So
it's a busy day. It's a busy Sunday. And also, hi, Johnson. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, it's our Sunday with you guys. We're actually trying to figure out what the schedule is going to be for this month on, because like I said before, we have 3 different time zones that we're currently working with. You guys in the US just had a time change for daylight savings. And so it's actually later for me than it used to be. And so we're going to figure stuff out this month. But for now, we are talking a little bit about writing before we're actually going to do some live sprints. And we're looking forward to that. So let's see. What else can we?
So the time change, that puts you 7 hours ahead of me now. Is that right?
Oh my gosh. Is that wait, it's 8 o'clock. Well, it's already been some time. So it's 8:21 for me.
Okay. I'm like, what time is it? Okay, 2:21 for me. I'm like, did that clock update or not? So
Wait, what time is it? What time is it for
depending
you?
on where you are in parts of my house, it's different times at the moment. So. Okay, so okay, I'm 2:21. So yeah, still said 6 hours.
Wow.
I don't know how that math worked, but it did.
You're even further behind me than I thought. So I'm Eastern, so I get to be the easy one. That's the time we like promote. Whatever.
We're set up.
You
Yeah.
don't have to do any
21.
math. That's what this is trying
Yeah.
to navigate math.
I have to
Yeah,
constantly
Sarah.
remind myself to add Eastern. Like, no, it's at 6, guys.
Well, the worst thing, I will say this though, like I always say Eastern time because like I don't remember. I think it was just like the one that I thought that got the part that was also with kind of Brazil. And then at one point, like I'm looking it up and there's like a different name for Eastern time as well. And I'm like, why is there 2 names for the same timing? What is wrong? Like, why are you guys trying to?
Wait, what is it other than Eastern? Eastern's the only one that
There's EST and EDT, I think.
Yeah.
I forget what it stands for, but even I get confused about it. So
okay.
Why would you have 2 names for the same time? And the worst part is that I was looking for it because sometimes I literally just go on Google and I'm like, what is EST time right now? And at one point it was just like, oh yeah, because Massachusetts is EST. And then Miami and like Florida and stuff is like EDT. And I'm like,
well, at one point, Florida was considering not doing daylight savings, so then we would have even been different from like the rest of the country, which
we don't do it. We don't actually.
Yeah, I mean, like I wish we all didn't do it in the U.S., but like it would be weird for like one state and then the rest of the U.S. I don't know.
This is terrible world building, right?
But also, great example.
Like, what kind of a crazy map did you come up with to be like, hey, Arizona, you can do whatever you want. Miami, think about it.
Actually, you know what? Now that you mention it, I might actually add that on my story because I have this one place where basically like the characters, it's one nation, but there's a bunch of different kingdoms inside of it. And they're actually like oddly specific about that stuff. So I'm just like, actually, this would be amazing for that world.
This is just an excuse for you to draw more maps, right?
Give me all the maps. I will take them. I love them. And yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to have to do like one map where it's like, here's my world. And another map where it's like, here are the time zones. And everybody's like, why does your world have time zones? I'm like, well, you know.
Yeah. Rose was calling me out for calling her out. I didn't know she was watching.
It's okay, Rosa. It's because we love you.
No, it's okay. You're the best. You're the one who sprints with me all the time. I need it.
I know. She's like the heart of our group.
Yeah, we eventually get it done. I just enjoy the shared morality or whatever morale of both getting distracted at the same time.
But she's always like, hey, is anybody around for sprinting? And like sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm working. I'm like, but I'm gonna try to anyway.
Yeah, I'm like, I am now.
Exactly. So she's amazing for that. And let's see. Steph said, I know that Ontario might be ending it soon. So that means that Canada is getting in with not doing daylight savings. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, join the cool club.
Absolutely. Oh, wait, for once Brazil's in the cool club? All right.
Hey, you're there, Julie, so it's always the cool club, right? Always here to flatter.
Sisterly love. Love it. All right, so I think we did talk quite a bit. And like I said before, if you guys do have any questions, if you do have anything that you might want us to know, or you want to say about your own story, please let us know if you are doing NaNoWriMo, if you're doing it right now, or if you're starting a little bit late. Let us know. We love reading the comments. We love talking to you guys. But we are going to set up to do a sprint. And Sarah, do you want to walk us through it? And because I don't think we actually set this up before. How long were we thinking of doing? Is there any rules? Do we want to like explain to people how it works? I think I kind of did, but just in case, we do have new people watching, so let us know.
Okay, so we're going to do a few sprints. Like Julie said, we won't go super long tonight. So my idea is to start with a shorter one, like 10 or 15 minutes to warm up. And then we'll do slightly longer ones, like 20-minute ones. Pretty much, I'm going to set a timer, and I'll tell you guys when it's starting. I'll set the timer, and then I'll notify you guys when it's done. And then in that time, generally the rule for sprints is put away distractions, put your phone aside, don't do research, as Anna said, and just try to write as much as you can or come up with whatever ideas. Just focus on the page for that 10, 20 minutes. And then when we come back, we can talk about how many words you wrote, or if you had any breakthroughs, or if you need any check-ins, help, etc. We'll do like a mini check-in, and then we'll go into another one. Sound good? Yeah. Anyone have questions before we start?
Well, I know that Rosa actually said that the Netherlands might also stop doing daylight savings. So I'm glad that that conversation actually can go like a while with everybody being like, hey, we're not doing it either, which is really cool. Before we do start, let's actually do a tiny check-in with the three of us. Anna, are you actually going to be doing sprints, or are you planning to write your story? Are you doing notes? Like, what are you doing for the first one?
First one, I'm going to try to take these notes from the notebook that I showed you, put them into Scrivener, figure out where they go. So the first thing is just downloading those notes into that and starting to figure out like, okay, where does this thing go? Knowing that it's not like a whole chapter because it spans across the entire story, right? So for now it's like downloading and just getting some words down. And then later on, I'll start to unpack that. When I'm not doing sprints or anything like that. So it's not taking up that brain space. It's like sprints are sprints. We're not problem solving. We're just writing. So that's what I'm planning to do for this first one.
Okay, perfect. Sarah?
Like I said, I haven't worked on this story for a few months. So first I'm going to pull up the story, and then I'll probably end up honestly reading most of the time, because I want to read like the part of the chapter that I was going to work on. And if I recall correctly, it's a chapter that I specifically stopped on because I was having trouble. So it was a good time. But yeah, I'm probably going to read a little bit and then try to start tackling that chapter.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you?
As for me, I actually do have a couple of notes that I was writing before we did this whole thing. I had to work on them because there's something that I wrote on the third book of my series that I'm not sure if it should be on the third book or if it should be on the fourth book. So I'm trying to figure that out now. So like you, I think I am going to do a couple of like just a few minutes of reading. And then after that, I'm actually going to try to figure out where that goes so I can actually start writing later tonight. So yeah, if you guys are with us and you want to sprint, Sarah will be leading us on that. And so good luck, everybody.
Yeah. Are we all ready? Make some magic?
Quick question. Are we turning off the cameras for the sprints? Is that the idea? And then you're going to put up some artwork so you don't have to see my like thinking face.
Hey, I admitted earlier that I make facial expressions, and I'm just going to own it. So it's up to you.
I'm going to own it too.
A lot of times it's like,
yeah.
What I was thinking though is that like since Sarah is doing the timer, I was going to put myself on mute. And maybe Anna, if you want to do that too. And so Sarah, I'm sorry, like if anything happens, if you sneeze or anything, you're the only one we're going to hear, and that's totally cool.
I'm going to mute myself until my timer goes off, and then I'll unmute myself and let you guys know.
If anything happens, just bring out the cat and goes like, look, my cat.
Yeah. Yeah, she stopped playing musical chairs with me, so.
Okay, cool. Well,
all right.
Ready when
so
you
are.
are.
You ready? Ready? Okay. So we're going to start with just 10 minutes just to get all your stuff ready and open and in the mindset, and then we'll do a longer one. So ready? 3, 2, 1, write. All right. So it's been 10 minutes.
Okay, I'm here.
Did that feel fast or slow?
I think that because we're doing it live, at first it was so awkward because we've never done it before. So I was just like, wait,
Yeah.
wait, what am I doing? Should I actually read? Should I actually? But actually, I got into it and I had a really good and productive one because I came up with something that was troubling me before. So I don't know if everybody saw, but I got really excited at one point.
I saw you like laughing and I was about to be like, what's so funny?
You should have done that. You should have done that. It would have been totally cool.
I'm glad you found something though.
Yeah, I questioned a moment that I wrote on the third book that I was just like, oh, they go to this one place. And I was like, wait, why or how? And then I forgot that I had certain characters that can actually take people there. And I was like, oh, wait. So that was pretty good. How'd you guys do?
Yeah. Well, I lost my connection. So that was the initial issue. I actually was trying to work on my Nano project, but I have it in like OneDrive, which is one of those ones that backs up through the internet. And I think it did not like being paired with the streaming system. So, and next time we need to download it as a Word doc. So I ended up switching to work on my TV script instead, or my beat sheet. So I have to do that tonight anyway. So I'll just do that now and then do Nano later instead of the other way around. And then maybe I won't be as stressed about getting it done. So yeah, so I pretty much just reworked like organization. I haven't actually done anything super deep, but what about you, Anna?
Got some words down. I think I ended up getting like 239. That was my count on the sprint. I think 50% of it is more questions. So there's a lot of like brackets and brackets and brackets and arrows going all over this thing. That's like, what is this? What is this? If it's this, then this. And I'm like, just write your brackets right now. We're not sorting through this. Like, but the more questions, then more information was able to put down and stuff. So it was good. It was nice to be able to move that over. And I kind of realized I haven't written in a while. Like I think I poked at it a little bit last week, but overall this last year I have not written a ton. And just realizing how nice it is to be in that creative stream in the brain where it's just like jet stream, you know, you're just cruising.
Yeah, that's good
it's
progress.
Great. Yeah, you know, I think it's who's it? Steph had said sprints have been extremely helpful, especially when feeling overwhelmed by everything else going on. And I think there's something to it. It's this specific and controlled time period, right? It's not, I'm going to write for 12 hours today and get 25 bajillion words down. It's not that. It's like 10 minutes, get down what I can, and then I can walk away or I can keep going with it. So it is this nice little like packet of control in a world that feels really, really out of control.
You mean you don't write 20 bajillion words every day?
No, weirdly, I don't.
Weird.
No.
Yeah, I was reading some of the comments too. I'm glad that you're feeling inspired and that it's helpful. I also think it's helpful to just tune out the world for a bit. But.
Yeah, Johnson said that this is great for his meditation. And
I support it.
We had, and the stream has got me refining my storytelling while I'm doing home improvements. Oh, wow. That's actually awesome.
Home improvements are great for thinking too. Like doing dishes where it's a monotony or like we're redoing our bathroom downstairs. And so when I'm having to scrape up this 35-year-old adhesive, it's like pop my headphones on and I'm just like this same repetitive motion. And if I'm thinking of my story, it's like, oh, well, what about that? No, what about that? I wish this glue would come up, but I have this idea. So there's something about those monotonous domestic activities that you can get you into those spaces or get you out of those spaces.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, go for it, Sarah.
No, you go ahead.
I was actually going to say that actually brings up something really cool. What's the best thing you guys do that's kind of monotonous that gets you thinking, that actually gets you coming up with ideas, because I know that you just said about like home improvement and stuff like that, but for me, I'm like one of those people that steps into the shower and starts daydreaming, and so much of my story actually comes from being in the shower, just being like, oh, that could happen, oh, that one thing, oh yeah.
Yeah, showers, I agree with that. And then I don't know, it's cleaning sometimes, like if I'm just cleaning and not and can zone out. Sometimes I listen to audiobooks, but if I'm just listening to music, that can be good. I always think that going on a walk will be helpful, and I think it does help, but a lot of times I get distracted by walking around. Like I'm like looking at things or just like start thinking about random stuff and I don't actually think. So sometimes I actually need to just sit down and like zone out a bit. But
The treadmill's good for that because the same thing, like being outside, fresh air is great, but then I'm like, oh, look at that neighbor's dog. Wow, the leaves are really pretty. Like, what is that thing back there? I hope it's not a moose. So there's a lot of distractions. Y'all, moose are mean. You do not cross moose.
here it's an alligator.
Yes, exactly, right? There's always a threat when you're outside, but if I'm on the treadmill, all I have to worry about is like tripping on my feet.
How is it that I'm in Brazil and there's nothing like that here? Like, how do
There's
the
always a
US
threat.
beat me?
Yours are like elsewhere in Brazil though, right? I mean, like there's some
São
crazy
Paulo.
stuff right down in those rainforests, like
Up.
like
Well, for you guys down, for
okay.
me up.
Yeah. I wouldn't mess with those things. I don't know.
Yeah. I also think there's something to be said about like weird, monotonous daily activities for coming up with random ideas. Like, I don't know, I'm cooking and making scrambled eggs, and then I'm thinking about scrambled eggs and cooking, and suddenly that spirals into something totally unrelated. But
Making
I
bread
definitely
for me,
have.
there's something about that like
Oh, I'm
need,
sure.
where you're like, oh, need that bread for 20 minutes. And you're like, guess I'm not going anywhere for 20 minutes except doing arm exercises. And that is like, it really does get that space going where you're like, you're creating, but you're creating with your hands, but somehow it's opening the channels in your brain to start thinking about those stories. And then plus you get to eat the nice thing that you just made at the end of it when you're done with your sprints or you're done with whatever commitment that you've done for like, I'm going to write this much time. I'm going to go eat bread and butter after this.
Yeah.
The characters also eat a lot. So
Good
Well,
characters.
there's also something to be said, and I know that Johnson, like me, we're both artists. So for me, I think one of the reasons why the shower actually works so well is because there's nothing for you to look at except like the tiles, right? And so you guys mentioned if you go on a walk and you see like a little puppy, you're like, oh, little puppy. If you see somebody like wearing something cool, you're just like, oh man, where can I get those shoes? You know, like something takes you away because it's so visual. If you're cooking, maybe because it's in your kitchen and you know your kitchen so well, like maybe that's a little bit easier. Because like exercise, it also depends, because like a treadmill, yes, it's like you're basically just staring at nothing unless you have like the TV on or something. But for me, like if I'm doing yoga, I cannot think of anything, because the second I do that, I have no idea what the person is saying for me to do, and I'm not good enough on, like, I don't know anything about yoga yet for me to be like, oh, I think she said that one pose, I can do that one without, you know, like actually paying attention to her. So all that stuff kind of comes in, and it's pretty cool.
there is the friend I was talking who called them shower moments like that. There apparently is a little whiteboard and markers that you can get, and it like stickies into your shower so that you can jot down those ideas too. I don't know if it still exists, but it did when she was, because she was
I
writing.
want that.
Now I know what I'm getting you.
Yes.
Also, I totally understand Rosa about zoning out in class. I spend a lot of time at work thinking about my books and then writing on receipt tape.
Yep, I do the same thing.
Don't tell
Actually,
anyone.
school for me was terrible, and I'm talking about college, because college was also, well, that's something else. But school, I was always drawing, I was always writing, and I'm sorry, teachers, but look at me now. So I don't think it was a bad thing. It wasn't as bad as maybe they thought at the time.
Yeah, and laying in bed wide awake, that's another good one. I mean, not great at the time, but you get something out of it, right? So those of you who were sprinting with us, did you guys write? How did it go for you?
And while we wait on comments, I will say that I did get let me see, actually, 174 words down. And
Good.
yeah, it was nice to figure out that moment that I needed. It wasn't the big moment that I was actually looking for, but it was a moment that needed to be figured out. And I'm going to say this because I don't think we've ever mentioned this before, or maybe we did when we were first talking about like our nano journeys and stuff like that. But one of the things that's actually big for me is just like writing. And even though because we're doing this live and it was actually so awkward to start, one of the things is that like I had so many false starts where I was just like, should I be writing this? Wait, no. Let me write this other thing. And when I did that, because I was just writing whatever, I got to the answer I needed. So sometimes literally just putting whatever you want to put down will actually help you get unstuck and get you writing. Oh no, I think we lost Sarah again. It's okay, Sarah will come back. Let's see, we got another comment. Seth said that they got sidetracked so badly that they couldn't get anything written down. And like we said before, that is totally okay. It absolutely happens. It's like, it happens to us so much. Rosa says that she got 335 words down. Wow, which is nice.
Cruise.
Yeah, because she got super stuck earlier. And that's true. We were actually talking about that, Rosa, beforehand. Let me actually bring Sarah back in. Hello, Sarah.
Well, I will figure out that thing. I can't do comments that happen, so I don't know if I missed anything in that.
Oh, we were
seconds
actually reading Rosa's new comment. So everything above that we already went through. And Johnson just came in with another comment where he said, I thought about the instant communication tech for my Galaxy, and I think it's actually feasible. That's freaking cool. Okay, so I think we didn't ask this question for the people on our chat yet, but so we talked about it before, but what are you guys writing in terms of genre? Because Johnson just said the thing about like his Galaxy, but Galaxy could actually be used for a couple of different things. So are you writing sci-fi? Are you guys writing fantasy? Like, what are you guys writing? Please let us know. I think we will be heading into our second sprint. Sarah, what was the plan for that?
I was planning 20 minutes, unless you would rather do a shorter one. So.
It might actually be good for us to keep it short, especially because it's our very first time doing it. There is a lot that we are learning with this stream as well, especially being live. And it is kind of cool to see what everybody else is also doing and getting their comments. So if we actually keep it to 10 minutes, I think that's actually going to be good.
We can just do a couple 10-minute ones, especially because you've had a long week. So we shouldn't go super late. But
you know, it's actually one of those things when I'm actually like streaming, especially with you guys. I'm not just saying this, I swear. But it's energizing. It's so energizing to actually do it with other people. And that's one of the reasons why I do love streaming and why I do it other days as well. It's because when I'm actually talking to people, even if I'm drawing, even if I'm like super tired, it energizes me and I'm actually having fun. And after we're done with this, I am still going to have to write my nano, like my actual nano stuff. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually way more energized than I was when we first started. Also, Johnson actually did answer, and he said that he's writing near future sci-fi for space travel. That's awesome, dude. Oh no, okay. I thought we lost Sarah again. She was so quiet. Mike.
And then Steph says, why fantasy seems to be turning into mild mix of sci-fi and fantasy. I love that that's happening more and more too, right? More books that I'm picking up are not this or that. They're starting to really blend in really interesting ways. I like it.
I've seen a lot of publishing people say they want like more sci-fi and young adult too. So it's fun to see people writing that. There's not much of that right now. I mean, I love fantasy as well, but it's fun to see a blend.
It seems to be more in the adult fantasy sci-fi realm right now that's happening, not so much trickling YA, so that's awesome.
All right, well, are we ready for another sprint then?
Let's do it.
feel free to continue commenting. But ooh, NA fantasy. Yes, new adult. I love new adult. I'm a big fan. We can do a whole stream dedicated to that sometime of me just ranting about new adult.
It needs to be a thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, I figured out that one of my books has to be new adult because I was just like, we're all so stuck on YA, and there's so many books that you read, you're like, this isn't supposed to be young adult. This is supposed to be something else. So I think it's actually good for us to talk about that at some point and be like, yeah, maybe you need to step away from the YA. Let's go into the NA a little bit.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that.
Trying to balance like, okay, what can I get away with in YA? Would NA allow me more freedom to do these other things? And so where is that line? Because there's a lot of contemporary stuff out there right now, like stuff that's been published in the last 5 years that you're like, that's like, really? Oh my God, maybe you need to bump up slightly for your audience. But there's no like clear line there. So I love it.
Yeah. All right, well, let's do another 10-minute one, and then we can check in again. So are you ready? Cool. So 3, 2, 1, right. All right, that's the end of that 10-minute sprint. How did it go?
Last time I was actually like mid-word, so I was like, wait, no.
Yeah, I happened to look over at my timer and saw the last 10 seconds or whatever. So I had a bit of a warning. But
Good.
I got a little bit further. I mean, I'm trying to revise a beat sheet, so like the basic plot of a television pilot, and I'm getting somewhere. But it's so hard to like write an outline, but also keep it to 1 page or so, but also have enough details, and that's my struggle right now. How did you guys do?
Is that me?
Anna, I choose you.
Great, thank you. It went okay. There were like I kind of found myself doing like poking back through some of the chapters, like, okay, what does this look like? So some part was spent reading and then popping back over and lots again writing. I think I got like 200 words or something, but still a lot of brackets and comments. Like one thing just before you stopped, it's actually one of the comments is like, oh, interesting. I'm like, oh no, that means a lot more work. Anytime I find my own stuff interesting, it's just a lot of work for like future me to try to figure it out.
Yeah, short-term gain.
Not kind. Yeah, present me is not kind to future me.
Hey, it just means we get to have a longer conversation in the future about all of this. And I'm looking forward to it. What about you, Julie?
Same here, actually. Let me actually get 2 comments in here. If you guys are seeing me making faces and like show my tongue and being like, that's actually not for the camera. I swear. That's actually just how I do this. I'm constantly making faces and I comment things to myself. I'm always like, oh my God, that one thing. So yeah, it's not for show, I swear. As for the second thing, remember how I mentioned that before it was a little bit awkward since it's the first time that we're doing this live? That awkwardness is now gone, and I was actually able to just go. I was actually really surprised that it didn't stop my train of thought. Because, like, that's how it is when we're doing sprints with everybody on Slack, right? Like, sometimes in between them, we take little breaks or we go make something to eat and stuff like that. And I didn't know how it was going to go if we were doing it live like this, but it didn't stop my train of track. It didn't stop me from thinking, like, oh, what needs to happen next? So I think I said before that I had like 100 and I think 74 words. I think that's what it was. And now I have 424. And it's actually it's actually a new timeline that I'm doing for the story. And a lot of answers are coming to me. So I'm really excited. I think this is actually going really, really well.
Yeah, I'm having fun. It's good. I feel like it's almost easier to just focus when, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm on camera. People will like know if I'm off looking on Facebook or something. Not that I would look at Facebook because Facebook's
it would be one thing too if you were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sprint, and then you get up and go somewhere else while the camera is running, and we'd be like, what you doing?
Like, I call foul. Let's see, comments. I saw a couple comments coming while we were writing.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Steph makes a good point about like how the line changes with content as far as what counts for young adult. But yeah, I think again, we'll talk more about the new adult thing in another stream, but for me, I just find I would rather write about slightly older characters, but and then Johnson says, I'm actually filling my dinner plate for this sprint. Nice. But it ties into my food replicator technology, also nice. And I got a new theory from it, so it's a win. That's super cool. I mean, again, going back to the whole mundane activity can really help you. And then Steph adds, I realized that there's a lot I need to fix up of what I have written and thinking of ways to make it all flow so much nicer. We'll all get there. Just get the words down. You can worry about revision later. But
I do have a question for Johnson. Okay, since you are writing sci-fi, I do wonder, is the food replicator thing, is that a Star Trek only thing, or is that actually more sci-fi? Because one of the things that I found out over the past couple of years is that I like watching sci-fi, but I don't actually like reading it so much. It doesn't mean that I won't. There are a couple of sci-fi stories that I've read that I'm just like, wow, this is really good. But yeah, I am more visual with them. So it's interesting to know, like, are food replicators something from just the genre, or is it something that like you want to use or not? Like this kind of stuff is really interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's super interesting. And then also a simultaneous question is, how did you guys do? Anyone else who's writing with us? How's it going?
Yeah, absolutely. While we wait for them to actually give us that answer. So we have two sprints that we just did, and we have very different feelings about them, which is really cool, especially since it's live. And so here's just a question for you guys, since you're joining me in my stream. But how do you guys actually feel about it? Like, do you feel like this is something useful not only for yourself but for others as well? And do you think this is something that we can definitely keep going into the month? Is this something that you feel that is growing on you, if it's something that you didn't like that much before? Like, what's the general feeling right now, like mid sprints?
I'm having a lot of fun. I like it. I mean, I know this one we've spent a lot more time talking than sprinting, but it's still just been fun to like chat and, you know, have the communal atmosphere. And the sprints, I mean, it's making me finally work on this project that I've put off all day. So I would definitely want to keep doing it and like hopefully working on other projects for Nano. But yeah, I think it's a lot of fun.
Same. I think Sundays in the past, that's kind of been our Nano day, our little crew. Because it seems like the day when we can be a little more down. But I like this because it's like, hey, I'm live streaming, I'm committing to this time, I know I'm going to be sprinting. It forces me to do the thing. Also in like a different way than just if we were doing it on Slack or something like that. I don't know. There's something nice about this live aspect to me that it maybe forces me to be more committed, which is, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what it is for sure, but I was going to say the same thing, that I would almost think that this would be more distracting, but I really like it. It's kind of, and I think it's easier to just kind of chat afterwards and not be distracted by like typing, and then I'm seeing all my other tabs and other messages I'm getting and like trying to keep up with, oh my gosh, our counting app. If that doesn't work on this.
It's because you can't get up. It's because you can't get up.
You're right. Actually, I think it is. I'm like, when am I going to take my break to just go like wander my house? Like when I'm not, I don't get to wander right now.
Also, because Sarah was having internet problems, so if she opens any other tabs, if she does anything else, she's gonna cut out. This
it's
is
trying
helpful.
To help me. Yeah, I can't like check my messages, like. Got to stay on my one streaming tab and my Word doc.
Yeah, and I have Slack turned off because, you know, it makes the clicking noise when a new message comes through. And sometimes when we're sprinting, I'm getting that clicking noise. And so it's like a Pavlovian effect, right? Clicking noise, and it goes and checks our Slack. Noise. It's not letting me just focus in on the stream and the writing. So it's here. I just have to, like Julie was saying, watch my face because I'm not sure what I'm doing. And the longer these sprints go, I'm like, oh crap, I'm actually on camera.
Yeah,
See, I've gotten used to that. Because of the sprints I do. I mean, not sprints, sorry. Because of the art streams that I do, I've gotten used to that. Like if you see my face, you just see my face because I'm drawing and I'm like, what do I need to do? Yeah. So you guys are probably used to me and that's totally fine with me. But I think we found the answer, guys. If you want to write a book with no interruptions, you have to live stream.
Yeah, you have to live. It's like the circle where you need the world watching you. That ended terribly, so let's not be the circle. But Rosa said that she wrote 400 words, which is awesome.
That's awesome.
And yeah, you can keep writing like after I stop. Don't. The whole point is to write, so
Yeah,
don't let me stop
absolutely.
you. But she also says that I honestly thought I would get no words down today because I was really tired because it's like the middle of the night in the Netherlands. But with these couple of sprints we've done, I've almost reached my nano goal.
Oh,
Yay!
that's
Awesome.
amazing.
And then Johnson said, I like how low pressure this stream is, easier to focus on writing than if I were by myself. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that we could probably do in the future, because I do it for my own stream, but maybe we could have like really super like low music if that's something that people are into. We can work on that in the future. But also if you guys do like the quiet, if that's something that works better for you. One of the things that I did have to learn while I started streaming art is that people will do whatever they want with it, right? So some people do want to see me draw, but sometimes they just want to put me on mute and they just want to watch the art being done. And this is something that we're figuring out with you guys. It's the first time that we're doing this live. It's the first time that we're being like, okay, so we're going to sprint in front of all of you. But at the same time, like this is going to be saved on my Twitch. This is going to be saved on YouTube. So basically, like you guys get to look at this again, and it can be something that maybe helps somebody else, or maybe like nobody's ever going to look back on it, and it's totally cool. But whatever we're doing live, if you guys have like, oh, maybe you guys should try this or that, like we're listening. We want to know what you guys think, and whatever is helpful, like we will look into it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I just have my headphones on with my phone hooked up for music, since I know that I need the music to write and to get into that space. So
yeah, we can always turn on like the music, and you can mute if you don't want that music or something. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking about that as well during the first one because it just went silent, and I was like, huh, maybe we should have something here. All right. Well, do you have any other final questions or thoughts before we do maybe one more?
Yeah, this is going to be our final one. So yeah, feel free guys to send us any questions you might have, any just comments. It's totally cool. We are going to be doing our very last sprint. And I will be saying this, like I mentioned before, we kind of don't have a schedule yet for when our next one is going to be. It probably will be next Sunday again, but we'll see. And for this coming week, I actually will be taking a break from streaming. So there will be no art streams during the week because I need a break. I've been on a lot this week. And remember, guys, self-care is absolutely something that you should be doing. Nano be damned. You have to take care of yourself. You have to have your breaks, and you have to just be there for yourself and do whatever you need to. So
you want to be able to celebrate after. So don't beat yourself to the ground.
And this week especially, be aware of it. This week's going to be crazy for people in the US. So
yeah.
Poor Julie gets to see all of our manic energy on the Slack group this week of just like, oh my God.
It's okay. I'm there for you guys.
Yeah.
Sister support.
All right. Well, we'll do one more. And like Julie said, we'll be doing this again probably Sunday. So there will be more in the future. Don't worry. All right. So are you guys ready? Get my timer up. Good. All right. 3, 2, 1, right. All right. That's the end of that sprint.
That's the end. We're just gonna go away. Like there's nothing else to be said.
Bye, guys.
Peace out.
It's been real. How did it go? Anna looks thoughtful, maybe? Troubled?
That one was
Yeah.
harder.
Deeper down the rabbit hole.
Like, yeah, I think so. Like more questions, and then it was just this like I have one little note in there. It's not even in brackets. It's just like, oh, I see. So it was a lot of kind of those, and then a little bit spent reading. It was probably 70 writing, 30% reading, back through a couple of chapters where I know some key things happen, and it's like, okay, thinking about this piece, does it fit with what that looks like? Not writing in that chapter necessarily, but just reading for reference points. And trying to hash out some characters. One of the characters' development happened a little bit more than it has in the past. So that's always fun when you're like, oh, I see this character now. Yay. It's not just a flat character. Hooray. I don't have to kill them right now. So
it's good.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
keep my darling for a little bit longer.
What about you, Julie?
Yeah, I know I keep mentioning this, but because this is the 4th book on my series, there's something amazing happening, which I think we all love, at least like us witches. I don't know about you guys, but romance gets to happen in this one. So I'm actually super excited. So I'm getting certain points. And if everybody's like seeing me just going like, yes, oh yeah, like, yeah, it's because I'm actually really, really happy that I get to write these. Exactly. It's like it gets to be these very, very like anime moments where it's like, oh, this person is kind of sick. So this other person has to come in and be like, are you okay? And then, you know, like one thing leads to another and they see like another person kissing that one. They're just like, oh no, heartbroken. So I'm like, oh, the fluff. The fluff is the best part. I'm not even blushing because I'm like, you know what? I like it. I get to do this. It's the 4th book.
So I just imagine, you know, in that scene in Monsters, Inc. when Sully thinks Boo has gone through like the contraption and he's like, you know, like that's what I imagine you like playing out your scene where it's like, hi, yeah, no, oh no, bad.
I mean, I don't know if you guys are looking at the writing screen, but I actually have mine small so I can see the comments if we need to. And so like sometimes I do catch myself and I'm like, oh my God, I'm making a face again. And I'm just like,
can you guys hear me? My mic's being weird. Okay. Yeah, I'm always here for the romance, as you know, and I'm currently the TV show I'm working on is like based on the first books that I wrote. And so I mean those were like young adult fantasy, and then now I'm trying to write an animated television show, and it's like, which parts can I keep? And like, how much romance can I put in an animated television show?
All of it.
All of it. Yeah, just all the like Zutara level like shipping in this animated show. But yeah, Johnson. Romance. We all care about the romance.
We all care about the romance. Let's be real. Whew. You know, I mentioned coughing before and I was like, oh my God, my voice is disappearing. So I had to like cut out. It's like, oh no, I'm gonna like cut off right when I'm saying stuff. It's like this is what the romance does. I'm back.
Well, what about the rest of you guys? Did you write any more? You're still there writing with us? This has been fun. I'm glad we've had a few people here with us tonight.
Yeah. I had no idea what to expect from this. I mean, the first time when we mentioned it, we were just like, oh yeah, let's do this. And I was like, but should we? I've seen other people do it, but I mean, it's one thing to see other people doing it, and it's another thing for you to do it yourself. But this is really cool. I actually really like this, and I am looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Like, I can't do it all night, but I also kind of wish we could just stay here all night. So yeah, this has been really fun. Okay, Steph got
Dumb word.
129 words. Hey, that's good. I don't know if the laughter is supposed to be like implying that that's not a lot, but that's a good amount of words,
It's
especially
really
for 10
good.
minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, Johnson, I took a break this sprint, but I enjoyed everyone's facial expression. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm sure I was confused most of the time.
Well, the good news is that since, at least for me, I know that I'm working on the same story, my face is probably always going to be happy because I'm like, romance.
Rosa finished her nano goal. Yay! I need to have like a little celebrating thing for like everybody
Congrats.
hitting little goals. So
Yeah,
yay for everyone though. Like you showed up and you wrote, and that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Or you did whatever you do. Watch us make weird facial expressions.
I miss having this on because like when we're doing the three of us on stream, I actually have to use a different program. But on the program that I do for art, I actually have my kitty and I have other things, so I could actually like set them off. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh man, I actually wish I had that because I would totally have my kitty like dance or do something else. I need to look into that so we can actually like properly celebrate everybody because you guys are doing amazing. Like seriously, thank you so much for being here and for doing this with us for the first time. And hopefully you guys will be here for the future ones as well.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for coming. I realized I had my little ornament going the whole time and you couldn't see it.
And last time everybody was in love with it. So
yeah,
we need more of it.
I realize that now. But any final thoughts or questions or comments before we duck out for the night?
Yeah. And I will fill it in and say this. NaNoWriMo is a month-long event. If you didn't get anything done today, if you know, like this is your first day and you're already like freaking out because you're behind, don't be. It's an entire month. It is a little bit of a pressure thing. Absolutely. I remember how my very first ones were, but you really shouldn't feel pressured. There's a reason why they do the numbers that they do, how much you should write a day. But also, like, some days you're not going to be good at that. Some days you're going to be thinking about other stuff. And like, we had an entire day. And for the first half of the day, I was just thinking like, oh, I have to like wash the brushes that I used for putting on makeup. Like, what kind of thought is that when you have to be writing? Like, different things will come into your head. That's absolutely normal. You don't have to feel bad about that. So try to enjoy it. Try to have fun, or it's going to be a bad month, and we don't want it to be a bad month for anybody, right? If you guys have any comments, any ideas, anything, please make sure to put it on the chat right now. We will have a bit of a small talk between ourselves for a little bit, and then we will be closing it off because I said this stream was going to be an hour, and it's already an hour and 38 minutes. So I'm a liar.
Time flies when you're having fun, right? But yeah, you made a great point about like the word count and everything. Like, don't freak out if you didn't hit that 1600 or 1667, whatever it is, because there will be days when you write 20 words. There will be days when you write 2,500 words, maybe. Who knows? So, like I said, as long as you show up and write and have fun. Yeah.
Anna, do you have any closing words, parting words, or just words of encouragement?
Be kind to yourselves. I think that's kind of the biggest thing right now is like, just be kind to yourself. You know, if you don't write for 3 days, don't try to make all those words up in a day. You just pace yourselves and do what you can. You know, it should be fun. It should be enjoyable. And the moment that it becomes not those things, it's time to step back and reevaluate. Kind of reposition those goals. Like, I haven't even set I'm not aiming for 50,000. I know that's not possible for me this month. So it's like, I'm just happy to get any words down. Hopefully, you know, I can pick at it through the week, but Sundays are like, I know that's my big writing day. And that's why these sprints are super helpful. So I look forward to Sundays when it's like, hey, writing day, yay. You don't have to think about all the other stuff.
If I get to have fun with you guys and finish that one chapter that I've been stuck on, I'll be happy. Get through my classes. So, small goals.
Yeah.
And I will say one more thing. We have done, this is our third one. This is the third one where we're actually coming together and we're talking about nano. So if it's your first time joining us, you can actually look back to the other videos that we've done. They won't be up much longer on Twitch, but they will be on our YouTube channel and they'll actually be there forever. So you guys can check it out, like, well, maybe not forever, but they will be there. And if you guys actually want to hear about like a writing experience, what it was like for us on different nanos, we have talked a little bit about motivation. We have talked about other things. So if you need any of that and you need to go back to it, just make sure to check out our YouTube channel. We are also on Twitter as @WriterCoven. And basically, we also have our Slack channel. If anybody wants to join us, just let us know. You can always comment here. You can always DM us on Twitter, anything like that. And we are happy to have more people. So if this was helpful in any way, let us know. Let us know what you want from it. And, we are happy to be here and hopefully to have you guys again. So thank you again for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, and I think we did have one more comment while I was talking. Let's see. Johnson said, I just like the community aspect. I pressure myself too much when I'm alone. Thank you all for the great advice and company. And thank you guys for the company, seriously. And you don't understand how amazing it is for us to be doing this and for you guys to be watching and actually talking to us. It wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for you guys. So we are thankful for you guys being here. This is just as much fun for us on this side as we hope it is for you on that side. So with that, I think we are going to end it here. And so thank you guys again. And we hope to see you hopefully next Sunday. And have a wonderful weekend. And have a wonderful week for those of you in the US, and for everybody else, just have a wonderful week. Because we don't have the pressure the Americans do.
Yeah. Have fun writing. Distract yourselves.
Yeah. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much. See you next time. Bye.